PTSD is personal, and at HIMSS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
I am Judith Krupnik, president of Cherry Hill Volvo. I drive an absolutely fabulous XC90 hybrid, the best of both electric and internal combustion. It's really an incredible Volvo. We are offering a $15,000 discount when leasing any 2024 XC90 hybrid in stock. If ever an XC90 was on your list, now is the time to visit Cherry Hill Volvo. $15,000.
Celebrate Spring Dance Hot Tub's 26th anniversary sale. Get a free aqua bike, exercise kit, and Wi-Fi kit. A $2,000 value on all Endless Pools swim spas. Plus, snag a free freshwater IQ system with your new Hot Spring Utopia hot tub. Save up to $4,000. Enjoy 0% financing for 60 months and get bonus incentives for quick delivery. Trade in your old hot tub for up to $4,000. Hurry into Spring Dance Hot Tubs today or visit springdancehot.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Get ready for our Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr. Everyone is talking about it. Be with me on September 12th as we talk about the election, politics, and all things Trump. It's huge. Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr. September 12th, Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood. Get your tickets now at 1210WPHT.com. That's 1210WPHT.com.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Don Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Got my walking shoes on.
Good morning, Pennsylvania. How y'all doing? This is Kathy Barnett. I'm filling in for the amazing Dawn on the Dawn Stensland Show. Hey, how you doing, New Jersey, Delaware, if y'all listening? Make sure you call in 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. We got a lot to cover. I was pulling everything yesterday, and I'm just like, I got so much information, so much I want to talk to you about. So make sure you call in. That number again is 855-839-1210. I have some great guests coming in, but let me just give you the headlines for the day. One, I just cannot help it. So you have RFK Jr., he endorses Donald Trump. Almost immediately after that endorsement, an article come out that he's not only a crackhead himself, but that he was selling cocaine. He was the biggest cocaine dealer at Harvard. Now, they did not say any of this prior, but the moment he endorses Donald Trump, now we find out he's a drug dealer. Secondly, yesterday, it popped up in our email that RFK Jr. might have broken the law by allegedly decapitating a whale with a chainsaw. Now, here's the kicker. The whale was already dead, An environmental group is upset with RFK Jr. over an old story about the time he cut the head off of a dead whale. I mean, you honestly cannot make this up. So we will see today what else comes out, but there you have it. I mean, only on our side, right? And you know, and I used to say, you know, people, this doesn't matter to the electorate. Nobody's paying attention to this, but having ran myself in that 2022 senatorial race and all the really just dumb accusations they were throwing out against me, and I said to myself and my team, no one's going to believe that. That's so stupid. Clearly, the video is edited to make me say something I did not say. Surely the American people are going to figure that out. Nope. Some of you, yes, 330,000 plus Pennsylvanians, you're smart. You did not allow that to deter you. You knew these people were lying. But after that, I mean, during that, I saw people actually believe that foolishness. So I don't know. I'm sure there are some who would say, you know what, now I really can't vote for Donald Trump because he is cozying up to someone who allegedly decapitated a dead whale. So there you have it. Not only that, in the headlines I saw, you know, Democrats are up to their old games. They're, you know, Democrats trying to keep a black man down. Once again, the judge rules that Cornel West cannot appear on ballot in Pennsylvania. Now, if you guys know who Cornel West is, the straggly looking, unkept black man, he looks unkept, all this gray, wild hair all over the place. He's running as an independent, trying to get on the ballot for Pennsylvania. Now, if you know anything about him, you know I am not a fan of his. We are the antithesis of one another. Yet, I could not help but notice that it was a white judge who said that a black man cannot get on the ballot. And that just runs so counter, right, Henry? That just runs so counter to Democrats who are constantly telling us that they love black people. Oh, they just love us so much. They love us to death, actually, literally. Democrats love black people to death. Yes, that's what I said. And I'm not taking it back. So there you have it. Governor Josh Shapiro, a white man, and a white judge are once again keeping a black man down. Cornel West cannot be on the ballot. And lastly, in the headlines, I just had to bring it to you guys. Oregon voters are consider approving the nation's first universal basic income. Yes, a guaranteed basic income. Oregon to be the first state to consider such a communist move. You know, it has never worked in the history of humanity, but this time is different because they're there. And apparently they are looking to consider a basic income, regardless of your age or income, $1,600 each year, as long as the person has lived in the state at least 200 days. So a family of 4 could receive $6,400 annually with no strings attached. The money would be non-taxable and would not affect other benefits. There you have it. I say yes. Let them do it. Let them choke on it. And let us rally up all of our homeless and useless and put them in the back of a truck and send them to Oregon. You just got to let these people own their stupidity. Kind of like Sanctuary City now. They're like, oh, my God, it's too many illegals coming here. Yes, choke on it. We should just rally up all these people, put them on the back of a bus, and just send them there. And then let them choke on their stupidity because, you know, that's what it actually is. It's just stupid and it makes no sense. Henry, you wanted to get in. I see you.
I was saying, like, if this were ever to actually, like, you know, be enforced, do you think, have you ever heard of the Greater Idaho movement?
No.
It's the West counties in Oregon have filed to secede from Oregon and join Idaho because the policies that Portland puts out do not reflect them in any way.
Yeah.
So I wonder if something like this would be enough to like push the needle where both legislations would be like, all right, let's do a little transaction here. Let's make a switch.
I mean, it's just stupid. And, and I always say these people are not learning a lesson. I know on our side in the Republican Party among conservatives, we think, if we just give good information, if we just give the facts, if we just say one more thing that is true, then miraculously, these morally compromised, blind, deaf, and stupid people on the left are going to realize that nothing they have done has actually made any sense, that it's actually destroying our country. And I am here to give you guys the bad news. The reality is that no, it's not for a lack of knowledge that these people aren't coming on our side, aren't listening to us, aren't realizing the error of their ways. And here is one. I'm just going to say this, and then I guess we can go to break after this because we have Tim Young coming on after. But I'm sure everyone here at this station has been talking about Zuckerberg letter to the Honorable Jim Jordan, who is the chairman committee on the judiciary, that, essentially Zuckerberg just, he just came out with his admission of guilt. There's no other way to look at this letter that he sent to the committee. I mean, he outlines three admissions of guilt. One was on COVID. Let me just read a little bit of this. I'm going to jump around a little bit. And if you guys want to get into this conversation, the number is 855-839-1210. But here's admission of guilt number one as it relates to COVID. He says, and I'm jumping around, but he says, our platforms are for everyone. Now, we all know if you're a Republican or a conservative, that was a lie during 2020, 2021. These platforms were not for us. But anyway, I digress. He says, we're about promoting and helping people connect in a safe and secure way. As part of this, we regularly hear from governments around the world and others with various concerns about public discourse and public safety. In 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, repeatedly pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire, and expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. Ultimately, however, it was our decision whether or not to take content down. And we own our decisions, but not really, because it was enforcement. It was the pressure. How did he say it? COVID-19 related changes we made to our enforcement in the wake of this pressure. Now, we own our decision, but not really, because we were under a tremendous amount of pressure. I believe, he says, the government pressure was wrong. And I regret that we were not more outspoken about it. Now, it's such a, now my assistant, Daniel, pointed out it's such a weird middle ground, right? Because here he is playing the victim, pointing out the blame, right? I mean, we were pressured. We were repeatedly pressured, and we didn't want to do it, but it was a lot of frustration from the White House and the Biden administration. So ultimately, we caved in. We own it, but not really. So it's like this crazy middle ground. We're taking responsibility, but not really. It's their fault. And then let me just say this. He goes on to say, I also think we made some choices that, with the benefit of hindsight and new information, we wouldn't make today. Like I said to our teams at the time, I feel strongly that we should not compromise our content standards due to pressure from any administration in either direction. And we're ready this time to push back if something like this happens again. You know, when I hear him say, with the benefit of hindsight and new information, we would have made different decisions. The first question that pops up to me is, how is it that people like me, people like you, knew, but they didn't know? How did we know that COVID only impacts certain groups of people. And people like me who are healthy, have no comorbidities, taking no medicine for anything. How is it that I knew that I should be able and young people should be able to just go on and live our lives, but somehow these multi-billionaires, very powerful, should have their hands on the best information? How is it that they didn't know? And when we needed them to know the most, they didn't know, and they screwed all of us and our nation. How is it now they know? But hey, don't worry, this time we're ready. Because y'all know the WHO with their monkeypox and now bird flu, everybody should be afraid, lock yourselves in your home, shut down the economy and the school. Here comes the monkeypox. Now, again, we know 92% of monkeypox only affect a very particular group of people with their sexual orientation. And the rest of us should be able to go on and live our lives. Okay, we have a break. I have two callers. I'm so sorry. I can't take either of those. Okay, nope, there's the music. Okay, if you callers, Ed and Joe, if you would so kindly hold on, I will come to you right after this break. Thanks.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-246-0553. 800-246-0553. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-246-0553.
Window Nation presents the 1210 WPHT Veteran Spotlight in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation. Listen the first Wednesday of every month as Kale and Company shines a spotlight on a local veteran, highlighting their remarkable commitment to the community and their exceptional service in the military. Presented by Window Nation. At Window Nation, there's nothing more important than giving back to the communities we serve. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. It's that time for the Rescue Natural Supplement Labor Day sale, the ultimate celebration of savings and well-being. Right now, all Rescue supplements are slashed up to 70% off. Plus, enjoy free shipping, too. So whether you're searching for immune support, joint care, heart health, or a youthful glow, Rescue has health essentials for everyone. Take a break. Celebrate your workplace achievements with savings on a probiotic, omega-3s, multivitamins, and so much more. Call them at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant, or you can shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Celebrate Labor Day with 30 to 70% off. Again, all Rescue products are slashed up to 70% off site-wide. No codes needed. Just call or go to res-q.com to get this Labor Day deal right now. Start feeling like a new you with Rescue today.
Don't miss Borgata's $1.5 million Summer Showdown. Now through August 31st, 1,500 winners will earn a share of $1.5 million. Plus, 2 lucky players will win a 2024 Ford Bronco or Jeep Rubicon. Earn entries for drawings held every Saturday, including 2 grand prize drawings on July 27th and August 31st. The $1.5 million Summer Showdown, only at Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa. Must be 21 or older. Players must be present to win. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get your laugh on with me, Chris Jericho, and the Talk is Jericho podcast. We've got Guns N' Roses Hall of Famer Duff McKagan and his joke of the week every Friday, plus regular visits from the hilarious Brad Williams and special appearances by everyone from Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias, Mark Maron, Dennis Miller, Cheech Marin, Kevin Nealon. If they're funny, they're on Talk is Jericho. So listen to and follow Talk is Jericho now on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Clementon. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
Boom! Hey, Pennsylvania! How y'all doing? This is Kathy Barnett. I am sitting in for Dawn on the Dawn Stensland Show. Not only am I phenomenal, but my next guest, Tim Young, is phenomenal. Hey, Tim, what's up?
You know, I've been spending too much money on eBay lately, basically.
Okay, listen, my board is just lighting up right now. I'm going to take some of these calls and let you interact with them, and you could just, help me respond. How about that? Ed.
Dreams come true.
Yes, Ed, I'm going to go with you first. You've been holding on for a while. Hey, Ed, what's up?
I never have any regret when I talk to Kim and Kathy Barnett because they're a sure bet.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. What's up? What are you thinking?
Oh, absolutely. I think you're a doll. You know that? But anyway, let's get to the point that I want to make, and that is it's amazing the double standard of the left, and I will even say Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, how they embraced criminality, but yet they say Trump's a felon, he's a criminal, which we all know it's phony, bogus charges. But, hey, if their standards, they should be embracing Trump as president because they're exactly what he's got exactly what they do. A criminal record.
I agree, Ed. Tim, there is nothing like projection, and Democrat Party seems to be the king and queen of projecting onto other people who they actually are.
Well, yeah, but they're also now the queen and king of stealing policy positions. I mean, they don't have any original policy positions anymore. Trump is so popular, and this is why I think he's ahead in all of their internal polls, that they're stealing all of his ideas.
You know what? I was looking at Fox News today, and I took a picture of one of the polls. They said that Kamala is beating Trump in Arizona, in Georgia, in Nevada. The only one Trump is winning in is North Carolina. How much should we put into these polls?
Nothing whatsoever. No, it's her behavior. It's the campaign's behavior that you should be paying attention to, not the polls. Because a lot of times when you dig into these polls, you see that they're skewed towards Democrat voters. So if Kamala's ahead by 5, they've interviewed probably 6% more Democrats than Republicans in that poll. When you actually dig into the numbers, they never do that. They never do the breakdown when they talk about these polls on air. But when you watch her behavior, the fact that they're hiding her, the fact that they're literally showing Trump's wall in her commercials, that says she's behind big time to Trump.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, let me come to you. What's up, Joe? Thank you for calling in.
Kathy, you are the best substitute teacher I never had. And before I begin, I want to say I think the new Democrat slogan should be, I love me some black vote only, because that's all they want. They don't want to cater to them at all.
Oh, that's really good, right? Yeah, go ahead.
But what I want to say is why, well, we probably all know why, but why aren't these political campaigns subject to slander? I know they would have to vote for it, so that's why it's not there. But don't you think that would reorient everything if they had to worry about slander and sinking some of their campaign money to lawsuit?
Yeah, you know what? Thank you so much for that. Tim, please jump in here. But I remember when I ran in 2022, I mean, the lies of these people. It was insufferable.
Wait, you mean, hold on, Kathy, I thought you were a Black Lives Matter person that hated Trump. I must have been. I watched Hannity a couple of times, and they said that on there.
They literally said I was a supporter of Black Lives Matter. It's so obvious.
It's amazing to me. But, if campaigns were sued for slander, look, I'm stuttering like Joe Biden. They claim Joe Biden does. If they sued campaigns for slander, there would be $0 left in the campaigns whatsoever. They'd lose billions of dollars constantly.
I mean, like, what would they say if they actually had to tell the truth? What would they say? Like, what would they be talking about? Facts?
They'd have to talk about how great America was under Trump from 2016 to 2020.
And God forbid that.
The videos at the DNC were the same edited videos we've seen. January 6th, they used our taxpayer money to selectively edit videos for that. Everything you saw was like chopped up Trump quotes that were taken out of context.
Yeah, listen, I'm looking at you guys' comments on YouTube as well. I have Mango Mush saying Kathy is always high amperage, high amps. But then John is saying, calm down, Kathy, calm down. Kathy, yes, you're right. Suze loves Jeffy. Kathy knows about slander. That's right, because those jokers slandered me. That's how I know about it. Okay, I have another call. Paul, how are you, Paul?
Hi, Kathy.
What's
yeah,
up?
we all know President Trump's going to cruise to victory as long as he stays on topic and just sticks to the issues. With that said, do you think doing social media postings about oral sex and QAnon is the right strategy to go with?
Absolutely not. Who's doing that?
Trump did yesterday.
I did not see that. Henry, can you pull that up for me? Tim, did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
No.
He did a
This guy sounds
blowjob.
like a troll.
He did a blowjob.
This guy's a troll.
No, I don't think so,
Hit
Paul.
the
Thank
kibosh
you.
button,
Yeah.
Kathy. You got to identify. See, that's what they do.
So crazy.
They'll call it. No. Kathy, see, you're new to this. I've been doing it for like 6 or 7 years now, and I can't believe it's been that long. But they'll call in. They start a little warm. They warm you up. They're like, if you think about whatever, and then they try to pull some lie about Trump out.
I know. It's just, but you know what? It's like, I guess I still think that we are reasonable people, that we all want what's good. We don't, and I know that. So shame on me. We don't all want what's good. But it's like they will. When you look at journalism, if you can call it that, New York Times and all these other, the WAPO and all of that, it's as if they will sacrifice truth to hold on to their narrative, to hold on to their cause, even though their cause is harming all of us.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, you should feel flattered. That guy wasted so much time calling in. I'm sure your lines are full.
He really did.
Blew up.
He really did hold on for a long time. But with that, Big Al. Hey, Big Al, you got something good for us?
Oh, yes, I do, Kathy. I love your energy. But listen, I want to talk about something that's important. That's that fake interview tonight. I don't know if people realize it or not. It's going to be pre-recorded, so then they can take out whatever they want, make her look like she's the greatest thing since sliced bread. This interview shouldn't even count. It's a freaking joke about what they're doing.
Yeah, you know what? I just heard about that. Did you hear about that, Tim? That the interview with the finally Kamala Harris is going to deign us with her presence on an interview that is pre-recorded. Did you know that?
Yes, it's pre-recorded, and they've got a lapdog tampon Tim with her too, so that she can cover for her. She couldn't even buy a bag of Doritos properly in a sheath. They had to have Tim hand one over to her, and like she didn't know where they were. She's not good at anything, and so they have to cover for her in multiple levels.
She's so fake, and it's so. Listen, when she dropped out of that 2020 election, she dropped out, and right before she dropped out, however, there was a polling, and this woman polled at 1% with black people. We don't like her. The Indian community doesn't like her. She's been no friend to any of us except to her own plastic agenda, and it's so obvious. When she talks, she's like with the hand gestures. They're so manufactured. Is there anything real about this woman?
Kathy, one other thing. Can I get this in?
Yeah, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Tim.
Okay,
Yeah,
one other thing. I don't know if you saw it or not, but the Houthis bombed that tanker in the Red Sea that's still burning right now. That is 4 times the size of the tanker that we had that leaked oil a few years back. But yet the environmental place was destroying America for that. Where are all the environmentalists now? All these people are so freaking fake because it doesn't meet their specific agenda. And this country, if Trump doesn't get elected, we are all. America is through.
Yeah, Al, I thank you so much for your call. I feel you on that one, Tim.
Yeah, look, I agree with Al. I got nothing else to add there other than you were talking about what's real about Kamala Harris, her cackle, and probably the alcoholism.
You know what? I grew up in a family there are members within my family who abused alcohol. And, there's certain looks and mannerisms and, and the way people behave and present themselves that seems to be very common. And I am not, I'm not saying she's an alcoholic, but she's presenting like several members in my family.
Also, how you age. You age very quickly when you're down in a couple bottles a week, and she has aged. Like, I mean, again, not to go after looks. Although Trump is looking pretty good, to be honest with you here, all the stress he's been through and everything they put him through, he looks like he's getting a little younger. But she looks like she's aged where Trump should have aged.
Yeah, I know. Now, let me pivot, because I can only imagine all the things that people are going to be saying. Like, you talking about a black woman? Yes, I'm talking about Kamala Harris. Kamala, sometimes Black Harris. That's who I'm talking about. Kamala, sometimes she's Black Harris. But let me get to, before I let you go here, any comment, any thoughts on Zuckerberg's admission of guilt letter to Jim Jordan?
Yeah, I think Trump's winning, and I think you're seeing people go, hey, before the FCC comes back, before we have all of the conservatives back in power, I'm going to kind of come up and be a little nice with you guys. That's what's happening here. Kamala's stealing Trump's policies, and Zuckerberg, who probably has a better polling instrument and can monitor people's behavior online, knows how people are going to vote. I think he knows which way this is going, and he's trying to clear things up before he gets in trouble.
Oh, yeah. Like, that is a possible takeaway from all of this, right? Is like, please don't break us up. Please let me, stay in power over my fiefdom here. I don't know. Like, point number 2, right? So he admits guilt on 3 different things: COVID, the laptop, and the fact that the Zuckerberg stole the 2020 election. He admits to it all, right? That he unduly influenced a presidential election. But number 2 was on that laptop. He says at the bottom, we've changed our policies and processes to make sure this doesn't happen again, that he doesn't suppress information because he thought it was Russian disinformation. But now in hindsight, he realizes, no, the story was actually true about Hunter Biden's laptop. He says, but now we know with hindsight, right? And so now we've changed our policies, and we will never suppress and demote a story again. Well, that's a blatant lie. Just in my own orbit with my assistant, he put up on Instagram an image, like that famous image of Donald Trump after he got shot. He jumps up and says fight. All he put was the image with the words, and he typed in fight. And Instagram added a notice to his post and suppressed it, moved it lower in the feed. And they said independent fact checkers reviewed the information and said it was false. Your followers are less likely to see your post. YouTube, they censored me because I was talking about COVID facts for regular people. So these people are lying. They haven't learned anything.
No, and like I said, they're just covered for things right now. My account was suspended temporarily because I posted the picture of Hunter Biden in his little trunks, his little underpants and the scarf, and they said I was sharing pornography.
What about the actual pornography with the children that he had in these very inappropriate videos that he was doing?
I mean, and Instagram is one of the largest human trafficking centers in the world. And so, they won't self-police on that, but they'll police if you put up. And also, if you see some of these fitness influencers, especially the women, what they post up, my little picture of Hunter Biden, well, Hunter's picture of himself, not so offensive.
Right, exactly, right? Like when you put in, again, for example, I do not believe anyone has absolute truth, right? I believe there is absolute truth. And I believe it's our job to seek out as much truth as we can find. And then when we find our little portion of truth, you put your stake in the ground on it, right? And you hold for dear life. But when better information comes along, you uproot that stake and then you go where better information is. That's not the left. That's not these communists. That's not the New York Post or the New York Times, excuse me. That's not Washington Post. That's not CNN. That's not MSNBC. They see truth and they're like, shut it down. We want no debate. We don't want to talk about it because our cause and our narrative is more important than truth.
Yeah, I mean, you can walk around your city right now, and up in Philadelphia, and I guarantee there are dozens of people, maybe hundreds of people still wearing masks. And masks have been proven to not work at all, and COVID is over. As far as like where the mass spreading was happening. And think about all the lies, the stickers on the floor. You can still walk into convenience stores and shopping malls that have stickers on the floor, stay 6 feet away from each other. That came from some kid's science fair project. People are still buying it. It's insane.
I know. Just like, remember the plastic straw versus the paper straw came from another kid's science project. I mean, it's stupid, right? Especially when you realize that China, the world's greatest polluter, there's no restraints on them. And yet you want me to suck out of a paper straw? No, I hate those paper straws.
And you actually ingest more toxic chemicals from paper straws than you do from plastic. So whatever.
It's just crazy, right? Okay. Tim, thank you, as always, for calling in. I appreciate you helping us make sense of this, right? Make sense of the craziness that we're living through. Thank you so much for calling in, Tim.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, guys, if you want to call in, that number is 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210. Light it up, and let's talk about it.
Talk Radio 1210's Huge Politics and Pints with Donald Trump Jr. is Thursday, September 12th. Be there as Dom Giordano talks to Donald Trump Jr. about the election, politics, and all things Trump. Thursday, September 12th at Scottish Rite Auditorium in Collingswood. Your tickets include a copy of Letters to Trump by former President Trump. A cash bar will be available. Get your tickets now at 1210WPHT.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
My dad, Len, always says, the minute you get in a car, everyone, front and back, should buckle up.
And my son Jordan always says, the minute you get in a car accident, first seek medical attention and then call us. This is Len Lundy.
And I'm Jordan Lundy of Lundy Law. My dad and I hope you never meet us because of an accident. But if you do, we're here for you.
Remember our name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyer.
Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit LundyLaw.com.
Celebrate Spring Dance Hot Tub's 26th anniversary sale. Get a free aqua bike, exercise kit, and Wi-Fi kit. A $2,000 value on all endless pools, swim spas. Plus, snag a free freshwater IQ system with your new Hot Spring Utopia hot tub. Save up to $4,000. Enjoy 0% financing for 60 months and get bonus incentives for quick delivery. Trade in your old hot tub for up to $4,000. Hurry into Spring Dance Hot Tubs today or visit springdancehottubs.com.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. You may know me from my book, Money Hacks. You may know me from my radio shows, and you may even know me from some of these commercials. But listen, I'm teaching stuff that people need to learn about money. In fact, my favorite topic is money. So go to investorschooling.com and you will learn things about money that you never even knew existed. We will teach you things about real estate, about the stock market, and about how to use your IRAs properly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This This is Larry Sinus from Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535, 800-511-3535, or biglou.com.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
One foot in the ground, one foot in the grave. Don't you dare.
I can just sit here and dance. I can hear you from a mile away. Here we go. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening. This is Kathy Barnett. I am sitting in for the Don Stensland Show. If you want to call in, that number is 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210. And I have Charles from Philadelphia. What's up, Charles?
Hey, Kathy, how are you?
I am doing well.
Okay, that's great. I don't have a lot to say, okay, because I believe I have 2 ears and 1 mouth. I should listen more than I talk, right? And I've never called into a radio station before. I'm not a Trumper only. I'm not a Trumper never. I'm not a Republican only or a Democrat only or any of that, right? What I claim myself to be is a truth only. And I feel that it's more and more difficult to find the truth nowadays as I listen to different broadcasts and everything. But I truly believe the only hope that America has at this point is Trump to return to the principles, okay, and the facts that this country was built on. And I haven't got much else to say.
Charles, I appreciate that. And I appreciate you making this your first time calling in and just trusting me to allow your voice to be heard. I truly appreciate that, believe me. And I agree with you. I mean, I am a Republican at this point only because we live in a two-party system. And I will never in my life again vote Democrat. I haven't voted Democrat for well over 20 years. But we live in a two-party system. And so I find myself leaning more towards Republican Party. But that's not because the Republican Party is perfect. God knows I complain about them all the time, just ridiculous. And yet I believe it's our job to perfect it as best we can. And I do believe there is such a thing as truth. And I do believe it's our responsibility to seek it out as best we can and to make the best decision we possibly can.
Most definitely. Never been very political, but I'm becoming more and more political as time goes along, the more I learn.
You know what, and I tell people all the time, you may not be interested in politics, but politics is very interested in you. And
their agenda is very, very dissuading.
Everything in our lives are impacted by politics. Is in everything. It's in the air you breathe. It's in the food you eat. It's in, the cost of gas. It's in what education your children are getting and what's being allowed in the schools. Politics is in everything. And it is not commendable when I see people saying, oh, I'm not involved in politics. Like, that's embarrassing, actually, when you understand how important it is.
Well, there's an old saying that what you sow, you reap. And I believe that we're reaping something we've sown, and I think we need to re-sow.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I believe, like I did in 2016, that we deserved Hillary Clinton, right? Hillary Clinton is the worst, in my opinion. One of the worst.
Amen.
But I believe we deserved her, right? Because of what we become as a nation. But I was praying that God did not give us what we deserved. And I was praying fervently for Trump to win. Today, I believe we deserve Kamala Harris. We deserve.
That's my prayer exactly, Lord. Don't give us what we deserve.
Don't
Please
give
have
us
mercy.
right.
Give us another chance.
Don't give us what we deserve. I did not fully appreciate the reprieve that God gave us in 2016. I don't think I did as much as I could have done. I was like most of us, like, okay, all is well. Kick your feet up, live my own life. And we did not take advantage of that reprieve. But I am earnestly praying that God does not give us what we deserve and that we actually have another opportunity to get our country in order.
Perhaps God will be merciful and he'll give us another chance, and finally our eyes will really be opened.
Oh, Charles, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening and for calling in.
All right, Carol, you take care. Have a great day.
Yes, thank you so much. To anyone else who wants to call in, that number is 855-839-1210. I appreciate Charles. How great, right? Like, that's just so cool. I mean, we just have so many just amazing people. I mean, on the ground, I've discovered that. And it really is. I mean, there's two things that keeps me sane in all of this. One is that the people on the ground, you guys, the grassroots, this is where I spent the majority of my time. Over 27% of you voted for me. I was spending 1,500 miles every single week all across the state of Pennsylvania, and I met some amazing people. And oftentimes, I was the only black girl in the room, the only black person in the room, filled with white faces, and I felt love. You made me feel loved. You made me feel like I was your sister in the fight, that we were in this together. And I will never forget that. And I will never allow anyone to disparage just the amazing people that I met within the Republican Party. So you guys are amazing. You rock. Unfortunately, those within the political system of the Republican Party overwhelmingly suck. Hands down, they're horrible. And winning is not the number one priority for the overwhelming majority. It doesn't mean everyone, but the overwhelming majority winning in the Republican Party is not their number one priority. Hence the reason why we become a party of perpetual losers. You can't lose as much as we've been losing without it not being either because of indifference, incompetence, intentional, or D, I guess that's C, all of the above, right? No, D, all of the above. Look, I can't even do my alphabet. It's all of the above. These people, winning is not their number one priority. Control is, making money is. And I'm talking about from the politicians to the Republican consultants to the county people over the Republican Party. Not all of them. I'm sure you can find one or two good nuts in the box, but the overwhelming majority, I'm telling y'all, I know, and you can't tell me different. I've been there. I've done that. These are not just opinions as I sit on the couch scrolling through Facebook. Been there, done that, bought the T-shirt. I'm just telling you the facts, right? So that's one. My other hope that keeps me sane is that my hope is not in these nuts. My hope is not in these people. My hope is in Jesus Christ. And God is sovereign. And I know, I've been told, some people know, like, oh my God, she's always talking about Jesus. Like, yep, I'm talking about Jesus. If you don't like it, I don't care. Because, let me tell you something. If I was talking about transgender men, literally on my Facebook, on my Twitter, you can go, a man, red lipsticks, holding his testicles in his hand. He just had them removed. I bet none of y'all will go out there and say anything about that. But the moment I mention Jesus, now all of a sudden we got a problem. You can go choke on it as well. I don't care. Hey, I got a caller. Joshua, what's up?
Hi, Kathy. I used to work for your Senate campaign. And I am a teenager. Yeah, I am a teenager. Thank you. I live in Bucks County, Richboro, Pennsylvania. And, I'm calling in and I work with Pennsylvania high school Republicans and we're trying our best to reelect President Trump.
Yeah, I know. There are so many great people on the ground. It really is. And thank you so much for your efforts and for your work. How is that coming along?
It's been doing very well, a lot of campaigning, a lot of events, but, it's been doing well, and I'm very hopeful for 2024. We seriously need this guy back. I work in restaurants as a teenager, and I see these middle-class moms, and they're worried about what food they're going to put on the table to feed their children.
Wow. And how old are you?
I am 16.
I love it, Joshua. Joshua, did we meet at a restaurant?
I did not, no.
No?
I
Okay.
never met you before. No.
Oh, but you worked on my campaign still?
Yep, I did.
Thank you,
Yep.
Joshua. Oh,
Yep.
how awesome. I'm going to talk to the producer, Henry. Can you get Joshua's telephone number? Joshua, I'm going to connect you with my campaign manager as well as some people who are working with the Trump administration and see if you can't get any help doing what it is that you're doing. Thank you so much, Joshua, for calling in and for working for my campaign. I appreciate that.
Of course. No problem. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so encouraged, young people. I love young people. Okay, Ted. What's up, Ted?
Hey, Kathy, I just wanted to call and say you're doing a great job. You have some big shoes that you're filling and doing a wonderful job.
Thank you. Yes, Dawn is amazing. Such a, I call her my double good girlfriend, but in this industry, jealousy rules, right? People wouldn't want someone like me coming in and sitting in for them because they're like, oh my God, what if she's like better than me? But I appreciate Dawn so much for opening up the door and for giving me an opportunity just to come and do what I love the most, which is just one, talk, but then two, interact with people. So I appreciate that.
It's great. It's great to hear. And there was one other thing we might want to remember. I mean, you're talking about what we went through with the Wuhan virus and everything and the little dots on the floor.
Yeah.
What happened? The government made us afraid.
Yeah.
They put fear in people.
Yeah.
And the reason they went, and think about this, the distance of 6 foot horizontally scared people because they were afraid it would be 6 feet vertically.
Yeah, that is very true. It's intelligent people just lost their ability to think critically, right? Like I would see people in cars with their windows rolled up all by themselves with a mask on, with a double mask on, right? And I would see
it was crazy.
I would see people walking around outside, fresh air, nobody's around them with a mask on or standing under a tree by themselves. And one time I pulled over and I was like, there's no one around you, right? Like, why are you doing this? And, but I believe was at that moment, people like myself and others, it was so important for us to stand strong. It was challenging. I still remember, being called a baby killer, trying to kill grandmama. You're the worst person. I remember when Democrats were saying, if I should get sick or people like me should get sick, we should not be allowed a hospital bed, right?
And they said that people like you and I, we should die.
That we should die. I mean, they were
disagreed with them.
They didn't want to have a debate. They didn't want to talk about it. They were like, shut up, sit down, be quiet. And come to find out, all of these nuts were wrong. And we were right.
Yes, they were. And there's the other thing. People are starting to rise up in the Republican Party. And I'll just name a couple of names. Mark Robinson in North Carolina running for government. That man is awesome. Follow that man.
I love it. Ted, thank you. I know, Ted, you hear the music. I hear it. Ted, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate you. Okay, guys, call me 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210.
Hey, Dawn Stensland here. Summer's winding down, Labor Day upon us. Now's the time to address all your fall automotive needs. In the market for a larger vehicle, to schlep around the kids, due for a service checkup after all that summer travel? My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles, they are your one-stop destination. Piazza Premium services every make or model: Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover, Maserati, Alfa Romeo, BMW, Porsche, and more. PiazzaPremiumAutos.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Fargo, your virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Fargo is only available on the smartphone versions of the Wells Fargo mobile app. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
40 days up to 40 pounds. Say it with me. 40 days up to 40 pounds. Visit NJDiet.com or call 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET. 40 days up to 40 pounds. 40 days up to 40 pounds.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United, this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
You're in hot water, mister.
What'd I do?
I told you months ago our utility bills were getting higher because of that old outdated tank water heater.
Maybe it's time we finally switch to a Navien tankless.
Learn about Navien's high-efficiency tankless water heaters, endless hot water, all while helping you save on your energy costs.
Hey, look at this. Our utility bill is lower since we got the Navien tankless water heater.
Who's in hot water now?
We are, all the time.
Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Prices keep rising, but Social Security isn't keeping up with inflation. Seniors are struggling, and Senator Bob Casey's votes made things worse. Casey voted repeatedly for higher taxes on Social Security benefits. Doesn't Casey know that seniors can't afford higher taxes? Casey backed President Biden's agenda 98% of the time, including trillions in wasteful spending. All that spending didn't help lower prices. In fact, it drove inflation even higher. And Senator Casey wasted our tax dollars on COVID relief checks for violent criminals. That's right. Casey voted to send COVID relief checks to convicted murderers and rapists in jail. That's less for us, more for convicts. Call Senator Casey at 202-224-6324. Tell him to put Pennsylvania seniors and families first and fix his inflation disaster. Support S575, the Fight Inflation Through Balanced Budgets Act, paid for by One Nation, onenationamerica.org.
Labor Day signals that fall is fast approaching. Apple picking, fall leaves, and chilly nights are on the horizon. With Legacy Box, you can cozy up and watch something special this fall. Your family's home movies. Legacy Box is the simple, safe, all-inclusive solution for preserving your family's memories trapped on videotapes, film, even photos. After 10 years in business, Legacy Box is the world's largest digitizer. They've helped over 1 million families relive their wedding days, babies' first steps, and family road trips. Just fill Legacy Box with your VHS tapes, film reels, or pictures. Legacy Box digitizes it all by hand right here in the USA, and then sends it back on a thumb drive or the cloud. Future-proof your recorded moments today so you can gather the family and begin the trip down memory lane. Plus, for a limited time, they're offering 55% off. Go to legacybox.com/value to get 55% off. That's legacybox.com/value.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
What? Hey, everybody. Okay, Lori, here you go. My face, she said on YouTube. Can you move your mic so we can see your beautiful face? There it is. How y'all doing? Oh, my gosh. Okay, listen. You are listening to the Dawn Stensland Show. I am Kathy Barnett, filling in for my double good girlfriend. If you want to call in, that number is 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. Okay, so now you guys can see my face. Okay, there it is. Awesome. Delay. Okay, so what are we doing here? Let me read some of you guys' comments. Mango Mush, you're on it again. You said politics is the control of power and money. We have been conditioned to view politics as being tedious and boring, but this only grants all the more control to the powers that be. You're either part of the problem or the solution. So vote. You're right. I absolutely agree with that. And you guys said what I said, that Joshua, the 16-year-old out of Bucks County, is some hope for our future. Amen. I agree. Next, I want to introduce my next guest, Will T-Boo. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Kathy. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you so much for being on. I have a caller on hold. Do you mind before we get started if I allow her to come in?
Not at all.
Okay, great. Debbie, how are you?
Hi, Kathy. Good to talk to you today.
Yes, absolutely.
I have a couple comments. I'll try to keep it short. But you and I sound a lot alike from the standpoint of the last Democrat I voted for was Bill Clinton. And I thought he was brilliant, and he knew about everything. After that, it was all downhill. And especially today, I went for Trump in 2016. And, it was really about policy, and that's what it still is. And I don't understand how people can even think about voting for Kamala Harris. I just don't get it. And everybody I talk to a lot of people. I talk to the man on the street, the woman on the street, and they all say the same thing, and I don't care what color they are, and I don't care what gender they are. It's crazy. So don't believe the polls. The only one is Rasmussen. It's Rasmussen.
And maybe Trafalgar. I like Trafalgar. Debbie, thank you so much for calling in. Will, maybe we can, comment to Debbie's question as we, just have a discussion overall. But for those who do not know who Will Tibu is, you are an Army Ranger veteran. You are also the director of the American Military Project at the Center for the American Way of Life. The American Military Project exists to systematically expose, evaluate, and eliminate the manifestations of wokeness in the personnel, programs, and policies of the U.S. military. Yes, I agree with all of that. I give you a big hoorah for all of that. That is absolutely right. Like I've always believed, I spent 10 years in the military myself, and I was always under the impression that the military exists really for two basic reasons: to be so big and bad that no one will ever want to mess with you, and two, that if someone does mess with you, you're so big and bad, they will regret it. They will rue the day that they ever mess with you or any of your interests. And yet we live in a world where it's everything but that. Seems a spotlight is on everything except for being the best we can be versus everything else woke under the sun.
That's right. And we know the military is different because it has a job that no other institution has. And so it's going to be an institution where the best of the best can succeed, or at least it should be.
Right.
But what's happening now is the military is becoming conflated with the rest of civil society. But the military is not like the rest of civil society. And so there should be some, differences in how it governs itself in order to attract the best Americans, not because they look a certain way, but because they're the best and most capable people to defend our nation.
Yeah, I mean, it's really simple, right? And yet, I don't know if this number has changed, but last year we had a 25% deficit in the recruitment within our military. And yet, about 2 weeks ago, I woke up and it was like the world was on fire. Bangladesh had ousted Sheikh Hasina. It was in uproar. China not only building, creating islands out of, there is no island, and then China comes in and builds an island, but their aggression towards the Philippines. Israel had just bombed not only a Hezbollah leader, but the Hamas leader over in Iran. We had Britain citizens uprising. Ukraine, Russia, Sunday morning, just this week, this past Sunday, we had Hezbollah and Israel again, just sending over missiles. It's like the world is on fire. Our borders are wide open. We see what's going on in Venezuela. And our military seems to be highly focused on DEI and transgender surgeries. And it doesn't seem to be an adequate response for what the world is demanding, as well as the fact that we have a 25% deficit. People with sense don't want to join our military.
Right, but nonetheless, there's the demand that our military somehow be ready to do everything about every one of those potential conflict areas that you mentioned. But the Biden-Harris Pentagon has race quotas for promotion mandated from the highest echelons of the Department of Defense. So it's not hyperbole to say that they are focused on someone else. I mean, think of that. In the United States military, there are demands that a certain number of promotions are made up of people based on the color of their skin and their sex.
That's crazy.
Exactly. I mean,
but
this is where we are.
I spent 10 years in the military. I could care less if my sergeant or the one who was in command was black, white, gay, straight, slept with animals. I don't care. What I care about, well, I do kind of care about the animal part, but what I really care about
Me too.
Yes, I do. But what I care more about is that I can trust this person, that if they tell me to do something, they're telling me to do it because this is the best decision, and that they gave it a lot of thought, and that they're not going. I mean, obviously we put ourselves in harm's way. You kind of accept those kind of, that may be the situation, that you're running into a bad situation versus running out. But at least you're doing so under the guise of, this is, I'm doing it for a purpose that is bigger than myself, and that the person who's leading me, I can trust them to have weighed all the consequences. And this is the best thing I can surrender for my country. And color and sex, who you want to sleep with, or your gender never comes to play.
Well, exactly. And the thing that gave me the confidence, to your point, Kathy, when my units would go on missions in Iraq, was that we had the best men on the team that America had, that we were the best. And it was the competence and trust in our expertise that gave us the confidence to do dangerous things. But if you listen to even a lot of senior uniformed leaders, they somehow tell you that the way to have a cohesive team is if the racial composition of that team looks a certain way. It's a really pernicious lie, because what young soldiers of any race feel is that if they don't see a certain number of people of their skin color in certain places, they think there's discrimination afoot. It's the classic lie of DEI. And I can't imagine something that would more undermine unit cohesion, but that's what you hear from senior military leaders, from political officials in the Department of Defense themselves. You can't overstate the consequences here. And it's really something that we have to get Americans on board with, knowing, so that we can affect some change.
Now let me just be honest, okay? I am a black woman, married to a black man, raising black babies, grew up in the very deep South, very poor, worked very hard to build a life for myself. And almost every industry I walked into, whether it was the financial industry with Bank of America, Capital Asset Management, or an adjunct professor, or in corporate America, or in the world of Republican politics, I was generally the first or the only black person to enter into those spaces. And yes, there is an element that it would be nice to not be the first. When I walked into Bank of America Capital Asset Management, I mean, I'm not old enough to be the first black person doing anything, and yet I was the first black person ever. Or even when I ran for U.S. Senate in the Republican Party, and now as a Republican consultant, I'm generally the only black person in the room. So yes, there is a sense that it would be nice to see, another black face, or, like some diversity, and knowing that these opportunities exist and that people are more open-minded about, bringing people in who don't look like them or who may not come from their exact background. Like that, there is something there. But as you said, within the world of the military, all you should see is green in the Army. All you should see is green, right? You shouldn't see black. You shouldn't see white. You should see green and the mission that is in front of you.
That's exactly right. And it's not to say that it's not a good thing for Americans of all races to be leaders in our military. President Truman in 1948 justly and long overdue integrated the armed forces. But what he did, interestingly enough, to ensure that there was equal opportunity for all, was he removed race as a personnel category from personnel files in the military. And, you think that in our day and age, that's radical. You can't walk into a kindergarten classroom without, categorizing yourself based on race.
Yeah.
But there were genuine attempts to have this nation of true equality and opportunity for everyone. And that's where I want us to have the courage to return, to mandate that there's justice and fairness and that there isn't discrimination, but also to ensure that we are focused on the mission of the institution. And the military is different, right? The military has a really unique job, and that's what public policy should reflect, that your children should be encouraged to join the military just like my kids. and they should join with the confidence that they're going to be surrounded by the people who are the best for the job, and not surrounded by people just because they fit certain categories of identity politics.
Yeah, like what I see is that in today's culture, whether it is because of the color of your skin, if you're black, or if you're gay or transgender or queer or bi or whatever, AI plus, I don't even know what AI plus 2 stand for, but that's a part of this acronym of theirs. It's as if now they're placing a moral value to the color of your skin. Yes. That if you're black, then you're more righteous, or you're, I call it oppression Olympics. You're more oppressed, and the more oppressed you are, then that must mean you're more virtuous, right? The more virtuous you are, and so if you're, and so being gay and how I respond to a gay person has now become the litmus test on whether or not you're a good person or not. Or, how I respond to a transgender, it has now become the litmus test on if I'm worthy to be, to be free, to have a job, to take care of my family, or if you have, or how you respond to a black person, that, that there's a moral value based on the color of my skin, and it's not. I've met some good black people. I've met some horrible black people, but it was really the content of that person's character that we should be judging, not who they want to sleep with, and definitely not the color of their skin.
Amen. And we reckon, you and I recognize this, having a normal conversation about American life. And again, it's uniquely important when you're talking about building teams that have to accomplish really dangerous tasks. In the military, as you know, Kathy, you're asked to put your life on the line. Yes. For a cause greater than yourself. Yes. And it's impossible to ask people to do that if you're being told that the characteristics about yourself that you cannot control define your ability to do a job or get promoted. You can't have it. You can't have it, and we should be confident in seeking this kind of a genuinely American ethic for the military, really for many more institutions. But let's acknowledge that if there's going to be a place that's devoid of this kind of ideology, it has to be the military. Because to your point earlier, the globe is an unstable place, perhaps more so than in decades. And we don't know when we will need a fighting force of unique, exceptional quality. And there are serious concerns that the military is ready right now.
I agree. Will, before I let you go, there's a new poll that came out that reveals most Americans know China is funding the fentanyl murder of more than 100,000 Americans each year. Last year, 112,000 Americans died as a result of fentanyl. And according to this poll, 52%, more than 52% of Americans believe China is aiding in the production and export of fentanyl in the United States. And they are. In fact, the U.S. House Committee released a report detailing new evidence that the Chinese government is directly subsidizing the manufacturing and export of fentanyl. It's the new form of warfare, is that China wants to do to America what opium did to China, which is to destroy a whole generation. My question is, I don't know if you've been following Kamala Harris' or Kamala Harris VP pick Tim Walz, but apparently the FBI has been investigating Tim Walz and has made it known to the committee that the FBI has been in contact with Governor Walz about his engagement and partnership with the Chinese government, as well as many entities that are linked to the Chinese government. And they have given him warnings as well as advice, advice. And now the Committee on Oversight and Accountability are requesting that information from the FBI. Should we be concerned? We know China is not just like us. They have an ulterior motive. They want America to decrease while they increase, and we see this very strange relationship between the hopeful VP and China. Should we be concerned?
Of course. We know, to your point, we know China's motives. We know they're interested in embedding themselves with relationships to senior U.S. officials. We know that our adversaries in the century past have done that repeatedly. There's a great book called Stalin's War that details the communist infiltration of our government, as early as the 1920s. And the thing is, thank goodness someone is starting to ask questions, because the mainstream media certainly won't. Tim Walz, I think I read at one point, had been to China over 30 times.
30 times. I love Israel,
right?
But I have never been to Israel 30 times.
Exactly. And that's, for a humble school teacher with a modest income and a public servant, that's pretty unique, I'd say. And, especially if there's a legitimate FBI investigation into these links, we need someone to ask questions about it. The mainstream media isn't. Thank goodness you are. But we can't afford to have the potential vice president of the United States with even a modicum of compromise or even a modicum of question about his relationship with the Chinese Communist Party. It's a no-brainer.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for joining in. This has really been educational for me. Thank you so much.
I enjoyed it, Kathy. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, guys. Here's the call-in number, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. Light up the board, and let's talk about it.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-513-4444, 800-513-4444, 800-513-4444.
Dreaming of a new bathroom?
Emmons Remodeling can turn your dreams into reality.
From modern shower or bath surround upgrades to complete remodels, our team of designers and remodeling construction experts deliver stunning results. We use high-quality materials to ensure that your bathroom will look great and last for years to come.
Call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit online at callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Cozy Jewelers is the place to go to for exquisite engagement rings. Thinking about popping the question this summer? Whether you buy something off the shelf or go for a custom engagement ring, Cozy is there for you and will make sure you get the perfect ring thanks to Cozy's 5 C's. Color, cut, clarity, carat, and the Cozy touch. This summer, begin a lifetime of happiness with a ring from Cozy. Go to Cozy Jewelers in Newtown Square or shop online at CozyJewelers.com. That's CozyJewelers.com. And step up to the 5th C, COZZI.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
There are so many terrifying political and economic trends tearing down the global economy. But your retirement does not have to collapse with it. The exclusive crash-proof retirement system guarantees over 5,000 consumers not only survive, but thrive despite market volatility, guaranteeing protected growth that cannot be taken away.
My name is Robert Sims. I live in Levittown, Pennsylvania. The interest credited to my crash-proof retirement system can never be taken from me. With all the debt that the nation has, I am leery of where the economy is going to head long term. I feel good about where I sit with the crash-proof retirement system, regardless of where the economy goes in the next 5 years or so, because it has delivered on its promises.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn on Tuesday, September 17th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
From your kitchen table to our airwaves, the Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
Okay, everybody, we are back. This is Kathy Barnett filling in for the Dawn Stensland Show, filling in for Dawn on the Dawn Stensland Show. If you want to call in, that number is 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. You guys have been so great, so generous with your time. I mean, the board has just been lighting up. I love it. I love talking to you. This is so cool. Next up is Gordon Chang. Hello, Gordon. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, Kathy, and thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for being on. You guys can follow Gordon on Twitter at Gordon G. Chang, Chang, Gordon G. Chang on Twitter. Gordon is an author, lawyer, journalist, left China. I don't think you can go back to China, right, sir?
I can probably go back, but I can't get out.
Right,
so, no, we're not going back.
It's kind of like a no-go zone. You can go, but you probably won't come back out. So don't go, Gordon. Your voice is very much needed. I was saying right before you called in, sir, on this segment before, I woke up a couple of weeks ago, and it was like the world was on fire. You had Bangladesh and Sheikh Hassani being kicked out, a lot of turmoil. I don't think that's been really resolved. You have the Britain citizens in uproar there trying to fight back, trying to get their freedom. You have Russia, Ukraine, you had Israel taking out both the Hezbollah and the Hamas leader. You have China trying to take over the Philippines now. I thought it was Taiwan. No, it's Philippines maybe. You have Venezuela and what's going on down there. It's like the world is on fire. And in our country, I don't think we're paying attention to it. I don't think anyone, or at least the American people are not being brought up to speed on just how tenuous our world is right now. Can you help us make sense of what's going on?
Well, also, we've got North Africa, which is on fire. And this is fueled by Russia and China. And we're being kicked out of our military bases like we were in Niger this month. Yeah. Things are falling apart. And I think it's because when you start from the catastrophic withdrawal from Afghanistan, the Chinese said, look, the United States is finished. Now, I don't think so, but the point is they felt so. And so they've provoked the Philippines, as you talked about. They're now flying a plane through Japanese territorial airspace, which is the first or second time ever that's happened. Probably what you can say is that, yes, the American people may not be paying attention, but I don't really blame them. I blame our president, who seems to have checked out because he knows, or he should know, what's going on, and he's not talking to the American people in a candid way.
But in order to be checked out, it assumes you were checked in. And I don't know for a very long time that Biden has been checked in on anything of substance. He's clearly not running the country. I think even the left has stopped pretending that is otherwise.
Yes, well, the president gets his presidential daily brief, which is from the director of national intelligence. So he has to know what's going on. Now, but I agree with you. He wasn't paying attention. And we also know from the reporting from Seymour Hersh that Kamala Harris actually ordered the Office of Director of National Intelligence not to deliver the presidential daily brief to her, which means she couldn't have cared less what was going on in the world. So all this talk now about how she was so involved in everything, that's just crap, because we know from the Hersh reporting that she was just not interested.
Oh, look at that. Isn't that interesting? Now you blame the Biden administration. What role does journalism have into this as well? Because, I mean, that's the reason why our founding fathers put freedom of the press in the First Amendment. It's not in the second, third, or fourth. It's in the first. Meaning there's some importance to it, right? All of the amendments are important, but I think the first two are the most important too of all of them, because who are you if you don't have those two? And the freedom of the press is in the First Amendment, and the role of the journalism, whether we're talking about what's happening in Israel. I mean, Hamas attacks Israel, and yet Israel from day one has been the enemy in mainstream American media and around the world. And I believe a lot of people aren't aware of what's going on because the media, the journalism, is not doing their constitutional role of making sure that people understand what the issues are.
Yes, well, we know that the media has become very partisan, and we know that they have not been reporting on things such as the Hunter Biden laptop, such as the origins of COVID. All sorts of important and even sometimes critical stories are getting no mainstream media play. But at the ultimate, though, it is the President of the United States who's responsible, because the President, regardless of the partisanship in the media, can force the national conversation in directions that he wants. And he obviously hasn't wanted to do that. So, we've got a problem here. Just give you an example. Last August, Biden gave a private talk to Democratic Party fundraisers in Park City, Utah. And he actually talked about China in very candid terms. But he's never had that conversation with the American people. And that is a failure of his constitutional duty, his most important constitutional duty, which is to protect the American people from foreign attack. So this is a complete failure on Biden's part, which is part of the reason why the media hasn't picked up on these really important, crucial issues.
But I mean, but does the media need Biden to tell them that there's something wrong going on around the world and that our government is missing from action? No, they shouldn't. But the president does have the bully pulpit, as it's called, right? And he can change discourse in our country. So yes, the media is responsible, but I hold the president of the United States primarily responsible for this. Now, let me ask you this, Gordon, because I'm on your Twitter page at Gordon G. Chain quite often. I read your information. I think it's called Is it Gateway? What is the organization that you write for? What is it called?
Gatestone Institute, which is one of the ones I write for.
Yes, Gatestone Institute. I love the reporting that comes out of that. But when I'm on your Twitter page, you're often calling us to pray. You're often saying it's time to pray. You better pray up. You better ask God for deliverance. But now you and I, we both wrestle with weighty matters from a historical perspective, from a factual perspective, just listening to what you've, have shared with us even today. And yet you're always, again, when I'm on your Twitter page, I constantly hear you calling on Americans, you better start praying. Is that an oxymoron? In the world in which we live in this culture, it's all cerebral. There's nothing spiritual about any of this, but you seem to think differently. Why?
Well, because although I've been religious my entire life, I've not really talked too much about it until about a year or so ago when I started to discuss prayer and faith and belief and morality. And the reason is that I've been so distressed by what I see in American society that I felt that it was important to, at least part of the time, talk about those issues, because I don't believe that we're going to save our nation unless we believe, unless we pray, unless we are moral.
You know, and like you, it took me running for Senate, working on the Vivek Ramaswamy presidential campaign, to now come to the place of where I realize our solution is not with these people. I don't believe most, whether Republican or Democrat, most people are incentivized to do the right thing for the American people. And that's unfortunate. And I too have come to the realization that politics is a tool that we are to use and weaponize for the good of the people. But it's not the only tool, and it's probably not the most important tool. I too believe that our hope is found in someone higher than ourselves.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I like Vivek Ramaswamy, but he's a person. He's a human. And ultimately, the solution is through what we believe in the eternity, what we believe, how we were created, how we look at all issues of faith. So I couldn't agree with you more, Kathy. And I'm so happy that you said that.
Well, I mean, you know, because we live. I mean, even when I was running for Senate, and if I mention, and I'm in a Republican primary, and if I mention the name of Jesus or God or talked about, you know, my own personal journey, you know, coming out of dire poverty into creating a life for myself, and I would mention the name God or Jesus or something, even Republicans would, you know, clutch their pearls and gasp like, you know, oh my God, oh my goodness, she mentioned Jesus. And that shocked me the first time I saw it, because I was like, you know, only Democrats are, you know, a bunch of Looney Tunes over there. But no, even on our side, there is this sense of we are cultured, and so we don't mention, you know, faith.
Do you remember at the end of the last NFL season when I think it was C.J. Stroud, I'm not sure, but he's been interviewed by, I think it was NBC, where if it was Stroud or somebody else, who talked about his faith and his belief in God, and NBC just cut the interview. You know, it's sort of, it's to me, it's we have become so secular.
We have.
And as you're talking about, even Republicans can't bear a discussion of faith.
Yeah.
And this is something that we're going to have to change in our society, because we have divorced ourselves from the Almighty. And at the same time, our society has become, I don't know exactly the right word for it, but has become, we just see evil.
Hell on earth. It's become, you know, like I always say to people, well, how is secularism working out for us? I mean, it's not working out that well unless you're morally compromised, and you're incapable of looking at the situation honestly. Secularism isn't working out so well. Do you mind taking a phone call? I have a caller, Bill, who just called in.
I would love to.
Okay. Hey, Bill. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing real well. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for calling. What question do you have?
Well, actually, it was a comment about Tim Walz's record, and it has to do with his visits to China and his DUI in '95. Because he became a senior NCO, he probably had to go for a security clearance, and we know that a DUI in the military is a career killer. So I'm just wondering, being a senior NCO, he would have had to have at least a secret clearance. So we had to go through a background check. So you have a couple disconnects. One is, what did he say to the Defense Investigative Service investigator about his DUI and about his 30 visits to China? So I'm just wondering how he might have gotten under that radar screen, because you've been through it. I have 36 years in the military. And I'm just wondering how that might have happened, because like I said, NCO, he had to have a security clearance at least a secret level.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, listen, absolutely. And Gordon, I want you to chime in here as well, but you're absolutely correct, sir. I spent 10 years in the military, and we all knew a DUI is a career killer. It will follow you, and people will think some kind of way about you when you present yourself. But what do you think about that, Gordon? I mean, here you have, I'm looking at the Committee on Oversight and Accountability. They sent a letter to the FBI requesting the information that the FBI has on Tim Walz. The FBI made it clear that they did not say that they are investigating Walz, but they have made it clear that they have engaged him and that they have warned him and given him advice about his partnership and engagement with not only the Chinese Communist Party, but also different organizations that are tied to the Communist Party. What are your thoughts on Tim Walz and all of that?
Yeah, the Daily Caller just a day or so ago issued an investigation which showed that Tim Walz, as governor of Minnesota, had continual contacts with Communist Party front organizations. And this goes back from the very beginning, because when Walz and his wife established Educational Travel Adventures in 1994, that had to have had the approval of the United Front Work Department of the Communist Party. The United Front Work Department works to subvert foreign governments. So it's clear that there's been a long history of Tim Walz's connections with the Communist Party. You know, he could say, oh, that was 1994. I was young. I was naive. But the problem is that he has continued those contacts with the Communist Party. And so this is a pattern that is continued, and he should not be one heartbeat away from the Oval Office.
I agree. Gordon, I have to take a break. Do you mind holding?
I would love to hold.
Okay, awesome. Okay, guys, we're going to take a break. Here's the number, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. I want to pick up with Gordon on Tim Walz when we get back.
Weather sponsored by Express Employment Professionals.
A cooler air mass returns to the forecast for the rest of the work week. Partly sunny today, not as humid with a high 83. For tonight, mostly cloudy and comfortable with a low 66. And for Friday, clouds continue with some showers at times. It'll be cooler with a high 76.
If your supply chain demands a flexible workforce, hire with Express Employment Professionals. With contract and full-time workers from Express Employment, you get the staff you need and manage contingent labor costs. Learn more at expresspros.com. That's expresspros.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. It's that time for the Rescue Natural Supplement Labor Day Sale, the ultimate celebration of savings and well-being. Right now, all Rescue supplements are slashed up to 70% off. Plus, enjoy free shipping, too. So whether you're searching for immune support, joint care, heart health, or a youthful glow, Rescue has health essentials for everyone. Take a break. Celebrate your workplace achievements with savings on a probiotic, omega-3s, multivitamins, and so much more. Call them at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant, or you can shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Celebrate Labor Day with 30 to 70% off. Again, all Rescue products are slashed up to 70% off site-wide. No codes needed. Just call or go to res-q.com to get this Labor Day deal right now. Start feeling like a new you with Rescue today.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-246-0553. 800-246-0553. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-246-0553.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
Wawa has new Southwest flavors, like the roasted chicken fajita veggie quesadilla.
Fajita veggies?
Or the beefsteak burrito with salsa roja.
Salsa roja? Love.
You can also add fire-roasted corn and crispy jalapenos.
No way. All from Wawa.
Oh, you bet. Wawa's always keeping things fresh. And this time, it's with delicious Southwest flavors. Try them in a burrito, bowl, or quesadilla, and build it just how you like it. Gotta have a Wawa.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are offering the C40 lease for 36 months for under $500 to qualified buyers. This is a really fun Volvo to drive. We also have a huge selection of certified Volvos. And what about $15,000 off when leasing a 2024 XC90 hybrid? This is an incredibly fabulous Volvo. It's the Volvo I drive. Visit us here at Cherry Hill Volvo for the attention and respect you deserve.
When it comes to your home, trust is everything. For 45 years, Kitchen Magic has built a reputation for transforming kitchens with precision and care. From custom cabinets to countertops, backsplashes to storage solutions. And we get the job done fast. In just a few days, your dream kitchen becomes a reality without the hassle. So trust the name your neighbors have relied on for decades. Kitchen Magic. Get your free in-home consultation at kitchenmagic.com and let's cook up something extraordinary.
Turn off the financial news and turn on a great retirement. Find out how with Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sundays at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Listen this Saturday as Penn State battles West Virginia. Coverage starts at 11:30 a.m. on the home of Penn State football. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
At Wawa, you can always find the right drinks for the right time. And Wawa's pumpkin drinks are back sooner than ever, so you can enjoy the best of summer and fall. Enjoy a pumpkin brulee milkshake by the pool. Sip a pumpkin cheesecake smoothie while skateboarding. Or take a pumpkin spice iced coffee on a camping trip. At Wawa, anytime is drink time. And now's the time to feel cool and cozy with Wawa's new pumpkin flavors. Available in milkshakes, cream smoothies, and iced coffee. Gotta have a Wawa.
Hey, Mount Laurel. We know your favorite station is WPHT. Tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
Yeah, I believe.
Yes, Gordon. I did not know that break was going to be that long, but like my producer said, you got to pay the piper. So thank you so much for holding on, sir. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, so we were talking about Tim Walz because I mean, again, this man has gone. I mean, when I'm looking at the letter from the Committee on Oversight and Accountability, I mean, they're listing one thing after another. His longstanding connections to the Communist Party of China, extensive engagement with CCP officials and entities while serving in office. Like you said, not only did he take an organized trip that was paid for by the Chinese government, the following year he created a private company that would allow him to take high school students to China for free. He honeymooned there. He was there an estimated 30 times he's traveled to China. What I thought was really interesting is that even after he was warned about his connection with these people and all of that, he still maintained those relationships. He did an event alongside the president of the Chinese People's Association for Friendship with Foreign Countries, which a year later the Department of State exposed as a Beijing-based organization tasked with co-opting subnational governments' efforts. I mean, it just goes on, and yet Harris could have picked anyone. She picked him. Help me make sense of that.
Yeah, I can't make sense of it. And, in addition to all the other things that Representative Comer talked about, these contacts continued, as the Daily Caller showed. So this is a continuing issue. I mean, clearly when someone is young, they can say, well, I like socialism. But Tim Walz recently said, well, socialism is just like being a good neighbor. No, it's not. Clearly, he has not changed in years. He has continued his contacts with CCP front organizations. And those continued contacts show that he is promoting the Chinese regime. And the question the American people need to ask is, why would he do that? I mean, I can't come up with any good answer. As I said, this is a pattern. He can explain away one or two events, but he can't explain away the pattern.
I mean, how can you explain away 30 visits to China? I mean, it's just it's really interesting. In March of 2024, he met with Consul General Shou Jing to discuss China-U.S. relations and subnational cooperation. Despite his knowledge and condemnation of communist China's human rights violations, Governor Walz said at that time that he applauds the accomplishments of the Chinese people and recognizes that some in the Chinese government advocate for the greater rule of law. And earlier in this radio show, I talked about how 52%, a new poll came out showing 52% of Americans now believe that China is the reason for the fentanyl that is pouring through our borders. And in fact, China is subsidizing and giving great benefits to Chinese companies who will manufacture and export fentanyl into America. And yet here you have Tim Walz just this year saying he applauds the accomplishments of the Chinese government. Again, help us make sense of this. Like, how, I'm sure Harris would have this information at hand. Why would she pick him out of all people?
I don't have an answer to that because to me it is inexplicable. You've mentioned fentanyl. Fentanyl is not just Chinese criminal gangs. This is a project run by the Communist Party, and we know that because in China's total surveillance state, these large, well-organized international fentanyl gangs couldn't operate without the knowledge and approval of the party. And we know that some of these fentanyl producers are state-owned. Chinese diplomats give cover to the gangs. Every container that leaves China is inspected by Chinese officials. The fentanyl gangs launder their proceeds through the Chinese state banking system. Chinese-owned TikTok promotes illegal drug use. It just goes on and on. And for Tim Walz to talk about this just seems to me to be such – it just seems disloyal. It just smacks of disloyalty. He needs to explain why he's not disloyal, why he's not more loyal to Beijing than he is to the United States.
Before I let you go, let me ask you this question, because again, I spent a lot of time on your Twitter page at Gordon G. Chang. What keeps you up at night?
Actually, I sleep very well.
Good.
I know that I do, while I'm awake, I do everything I possibly can. And I don't consult, all that stuff. I just do this because I think it's important. So I can be wrong, Kathy, I can be wrong, but the point is nobody is paying me to be wrong. So I sleep very well because I've got the cleanest of consciences.
Good. Well, Gordon, thank you so much for being with us. I appreciate all of your work. I am following you. I take some solace in listening and just like you, doing the best I can with the information that I have and knowing that, because I too sleep very well at night. My husband is always complaining how I'm asleep before my head touched the pillow because like you, I do the best I can with what I have.
Well, yes, and we're a strong country because there are people like you, Kathy. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, sir. Okay, everyone, that's it for me. I know it's been a long day, but this time goes by so quickly. I'm here.
Always does.
It does,
Always
right?
does.
I spent literally yesterday, 5 or 6 hours preparing for a 2-hour show that feels like 30 minutes. But I appreciate each and every one of you and all the calls. I will be back tomorrow, so tell your friends, tell everybody, listen in, get ready to call. Blessings. Take care of each other. Until next time. Bye.
40 days up to 40 pounds. Say it with me. 40 days up to 40 pounds. Shed that summer